Welcome to the Mahila Samaja online class. Dear 10th standard students, we are in biology lesson, the continuation part. We know that all the living organisms have a capacity responding to the changes in the environment. This is what we call heritability. Heritability takes place in two ways: the nervous system and endocrine system. In nervous system, the components of nervous system, classification of nervous system. In central nervous system, the brain, spinal cord, the structure and the importance. The PNS involves the cranial nerves and spinal nerves. And in autonomic nervous system, sympathetic nerves and parasympathetic nerves, how they are function. The irritability process takes place by the nervous system and endocrine system. We already completed the nervous system in human nervous system. Now we are moving to endocrine system. We know that irritability process takes place in two ways. One is by the nervous system and another one is endocrine system. Before going to the endocrine system, here we have to know the difference between nervous system and endocrine system. Endocrine system. Generally, here we have to be pointed out the difference between nervous system and endocrine system. Response takes place by the nervous system through the nerves. Response to the stimulus. You know that irritability contains two parts: response and stimulus. Response is the reaction takes place by the living organism. Stimulus is nothing but changes takes place in the environment, either by the biotic factors or by the abiotic factors. But the stimulation is the organisms only stimulated, but they are stimulated both by the biotic and abiotic factor, but the response is given only by the living organisms. So here, response to the stimulus by the nervous system, response to the stimulus by nervous system takes place through nerves in the form of electrical signals, that is nerve impulses. What are nerve impulses? The messages are transformed in the form of electrical signals through the nerves are called the nerve impulses. The nervous system responds to the stimulus in the form of the electrical signals. But in endocrine system, the response to the stimulus takes place through the chemical signals. In the nervous system, the messages are transferred in the form of the electrical signals or nerve impulses, but in endocrine system, the response to the stimulus takes place by the chemical signals through the hormones, through the blood stream, blood ಮೂಲಕ ಹಾದು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಆ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ಸು. In that way the endocrine system responds to the stimulus in the form of chemical signals to the blood stream to the target organs. Yeah, quick response takes place through the nervous system. Quick response. That is quick response. You respond to me, my order. That is quick response. So yeah, quick response takes place through the nervous system, but it is slow response. It will take prolonged. The response takes place for a longer time. So yeah, the response may remain short-lived. ಕಡಿಮೆ ಅವಧಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಗಿದೋಗುತ್ತೆ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟಿಮ್ಯುಲಸ್ ಫ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದಾಗೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಲೈಫ್. The response remains for a longer time. Once the response takes place, it is permanent. The response to the stimulus by the endocrine system will be permanent. But it is short-lived. ಒಂದು ಸಾರಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂದರೆ ಅದು ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇದು ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಕೆಲವು ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಲಾಂಗರ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಒಂದು ಮೀಸೆ, ಒಂದು ಗಡ್ಡ ಬೆಳೆಯಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಆದರೆ ಅದು ಕೊನೆಯವರೆಗೂ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಎ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್. The stimulus takes place by the endocrine glands. But here the components of the nervous system are brain, spinal cord and the nerves. The fourth difference, the components involved in the nervous system are brain, spinal cord and the nerves, but the endocrine glands are involved in the response to stimulus by endocrine system. That is the differences between nervous system and endocrine system. Both are the two ways response to the irritability. The irritability process takes place by two ways. One is by the nervous system and one is by the endocrine system. ಒಂದು ಅಳಿಲು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಭಯ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಭಯ ಆದಾಗ ಅದು ಓಡೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಎದುರಿಸ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯ ಬರಬೇಕು. ಎನಿಮಿಯನ್ನ ಎದುರಿಸ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯ ಬರಬೇಕು. ಆ ಎರಡೂ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನರ್ವಸ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಒಂದರಿಂದನೇ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಎಂಡೋಕ್ರೈನ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನಾವೇ ಯಾರ ಜೊತೆಗೂ ಜಗಳ ಆಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಆ ಜಗಳ ಆಡ್ತಾ ಇರುವಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಬ್ರೈನ್ ಇಂಡಿಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ನು ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗರ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಅಥವಾ ಅವ್ನ ವೀಕ್ ಬಾಡಿ, ಅವ್ನ ಎದುರಿಸ್ಬೋದು, ಓಡಿಸ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದು ತಿಳಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಅವ್ನು ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗರ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್, ನಾವೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಬೇರೆ ಮೆಷರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಸಹ ಇಂಡಿಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ನರ್ವಸ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಆ ಎದುರಿಸ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಸಲ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಆ ಮಸಲ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಬರಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಬರಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಎಂಡೋಕ್ರೈನ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಸಹ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನಮ್ಮ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟಿಮ್ಯುಲಸ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿ ಆ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಒಂದು ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ಸಿಕ್ರೀಷನ್ ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿಯಾಗಿ ಆ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನು ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಆರ್ಗನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಸಲ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಬಂದು ನಾವು ಫೈಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದಕ್ಕೆ ಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಒದಗಿಸಬೇಕು, ಎದುರಿಸ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯವನ್ನು ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟಿಮ್ಯುಲಸ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೆಲವು ಟೈಮ್ ನರ್ವಸ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಸಾಕು, ಕೆಲವು ಟೈಮ್ ಎಂಡೋಕ್ರೈನ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಸಾಕು, ಕೆಲವು ಟೈಮ್ ಎರಡೂ ಸಹ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟಿಮ್ಯುಲಸ್ ಆದಾಗ ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ವೇ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ತಕ್ಕನಂಗೆ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿ ಆಗೋದು ಯಾವುದರಿಂದ? ಎಂಡೋಕ್ರೈನ್ ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಸರ್? ಎಂಡೋಕ್ರೈನ್ ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸರ್ ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬೇರೆ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಾ ಸರ್? ಅದೆಲ್ಲದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಬೋಣ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ನೋ ದ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದ ನರ್ವಸ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಎಂಡೋಕ್ರೈನ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ಬೋತ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಟೂ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ವೇಸ್ of irritability process, involved in the irritability process. The response to the stimulus by the nervous system through the nerves in the form of electrical signals. The response to the stimulus takes place through the chemical signals, through the bloodstream to the target organs by the endocrine system. Quick response takes place through the nervous system. The slow response takes place through the endocrine system. It will be remains for a longer time. They are short-lived, they have long-lived. The parts of or the components of the nervous system are the brain, spinal cord, and the nerves, CNS, PNS, and ANS. And come to the components of the endocrine system are glands, endocrine glands. Now we have to know the concept of glands. Then only we know it is possible to know the definition for endocrine glands. First here we have to know the definition of glands. Sir, where the glands are situated? So glands are, this is the irritability. Please remember, here the control and coordination takes place in animals. Sir, what about plants? That will be discussed in next classes. Nervous system in human, the endocrine system in human endocrine system. So here, before going to the endocrine system, that is also a part in order to control and coordinate the system of our body. The various organ systems of our body are controlled by endocrine system also. Before going to the endocrine system, here we have to know the glands concept. Glands are tissue level or organ level structures. Organ level structures. Some of the glands are remained as tissue level, some of the glands are grown up as the organs level structures. The glands are either tissue level or organ level structure. These are specialized. Specialization in special in the somewhat special of the glands. They are specialized to produce the secretion. Produce the secretion. What do you mean by secretion? ಅಂಟು ಪದಾರ್ಥವನ್ನು ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿ ಮಾಡೋದು. Fluid substance. A gummy fluid substance. So here the substance, chemical substance as gummy substance is produced by the tissue level or organs level. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಈ ಇದರಿಂದ ಕಣ್ಣುಗಳಿಂದ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವುದು ಈ ಕೈಯಿಂದ ಏನಾದರೂ ಸೆಕ್ರೇಷನ್ ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ? ನೋ. ಕಾಲಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಏನಾದರೂ ಸೆಕ್ರೇಷನ್ ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುಗಳು ಕೇಪಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇದೆಯೋ ಅವುಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ. The glands are nothing but the tissue level or the organs level structures specialized to produce the secretion are called glands. Glands are two types. The two types of the glands are exocrine glands and endocrine glands. Exocrine glands and endocrine glands. Of course, glands are the tissue level or organ level structures specialized to produce the secretion. The glands are two types, exocrine glands, endocrine glands. Both the exocrine glands and endocrine glands produce the secretion. Then what is the difference between these two? Some glands discharge their secretion, some glands discharge ಬಿಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು, ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು, ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬಿಟ್ಕೊಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ದೇರ್ ಸೆಕ್ರೀಷನ್, ಆ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ ಅಂಟು ಪದಾರ್ಥ ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನ ಸೆಕ್ರೀಷನ್ with the help of ducts, through the ducts, nada, ducts, tube, nada. Some of the glands discharge their secretion through the ducts are called exocrine glands. Some of the glands discharge their secretion, some of the glands ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್, ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬೀಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ದೇ ಸೆಕ್ರೀಷನ್, ಅಂಟು ಪದಾರ್ಥವನ್ನ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಇಂಟು ದ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್, ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಇಂಟು ದ blood stream. Such gland without the help of ducts. Some glands discharge their secretion directly into the blood without the help of ducts. Without help of ducts. Such glands are called endocrine glands. ಇದರಿಂದನೂ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ ಸೆಕ್ರೇಷನ್ ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಈ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ ಸೆಕ್ರೇಷನ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬ್ಲಡ್ಗೆ ಡಿಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಬೈ ಡಿಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್. ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಹೊರಟೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಇಂದ ಆ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ ಆರ್ಗನ್ಸ್ ತಲುಪಬೇಕೋ ಆ ಆರ್ಗನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ತಲುಪಿ ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ತನ್ನ ಪ್ರಭಾವವನ್ನು ಬೀರುತ್ತೆ. ಸಚ್ ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಎಂಡೋಕ್ರೈನ್ ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್. The glands discharge their chemical secretion directly into the bloodstream without the help of ducts. They are called endocrine glands. Endocrine glands are called ductless glands. Ductless glands. Which type of glands are called ductless glands? Endocrine glands are called ductless glands. Why the endocrine glands are called ductless glands? Because they discharge their secretion directly into the bloodstream without the help of ducts. Therefore, they are called endocrine glands, are called ductless glands. So, where the glands are situated? The glands are situated in our different parts of the body. ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಹದ ವಿವಿಧ ಆರ್ಗನ್ಸ್ ನ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ. They are embedded in the different organs. The endocrine glands are embedded in the different organs of the body. ನಮ್ಮ different parts of the body ಇರುಗಡೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. Let me see some of the different endocrine glands. Sir, is the endocrine glands both present both in male and female? Yes. Endocrine glands are present both in male and female. But some endocrine glands are present only in males, some other glands are present, some other endocrine glands are present only in females. That will be discussed later on. So here, example to the exocrine glands. Salivary glands. Stomach itself is a exocrine gland. Liver itself is a exocrine gland. So here, the salivary glands produce the salivary juice, stomach produces the gastric juice, liver produces the bile juice. All they are the liver, stomach and salivary glands are example to the exocrine glands. They are discharged their secretion with the help of the ducts. The secretions of the exocrine gland, one more difference, the secretion of the exocrine glands are contain enzymes. What are enzymes? The chemical secretions of the exocrine gland contains enzymes. For example, salivary amylase enzymes produced from the salivary juice. Pepsin and renin enzymes are produced by the gastric juice. Bile juice is secreted by the liver, but it do not contain any kind of the enzymes. However, the enzymes are nothing but the chemical secretions of the exocrine gland. They are basically proteins, chemical substance. The chemical substance of the enzymes are chemically proteins. They are especially the enzymes are involved in nutrition process. They are involved in the nutrition of carbohydrate, protein and fat. Carbohydrate digest ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ, protein digest ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಮತ್ತೆ fat digest ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ ಎಕ್ಸೋಕ್ರೈನ್ ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇಂದ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಜ್ಯೂಸಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ enzymes. Then endocrine glands are also produce the chemical secretion. They secreted directly into the bloodstream. The chemical secretion of the endocrine glands are called hormones. So, what are hormones? Okay, we can discuss it later once again. So this is the secretion of the exocrine glands contain enzymes, the secretion of the endocrine glands contains hormones. This is the differences between exocrine gland and endocrine glands. Now we will discuss the different kinds of the endocrine glands, where the different kinds of the endocrine glands are located in our different parts of the body. What are their importance? That will be discussed here on itself. Now we will move to the just now. Here we have to be pointed out the definition of the gland, the difference between nervous system and endocrine system, definition of the glands, the types of glands, difference between exocrine glands and endocrine glands. Here, the exocrine glands are not involved in irritability process. The endocrine system is only a part of irritability process, because irritability process takes place in two ways. One is nervous system and one more is endocrine system. Now we'll move on to the list of endocrine glands in our different parts of the body. Endocrine glands. In earlier class, in the structure of brain, below the hypothalamus, a pituitary gland is present. A pituitary gland itself is a endocrine gland. Pituitary gland is a endocrine gland. One more endocrine gland is thyroid gland. Thyroid gland is also a endocrine gland. Next to that one is pancreas. Yeah, pancreas is said to be a mixed gland that will be discussed later on. But in pancreas, inside the pancreas, islet of Langerhans. Islet of Langerhans. Actually, islet of Langerhans is the endocrine gland. Pancreas itself is a exocrine gland. It contains both the exocrine gland and the endocrine gland. Therefore, it is said to be a mixed gland. So that will be discussed when the pancreas will be comes. So next, one more endocrine gland is adrenal gland. Adrenal gland. Next to that one is testes. Testes and ovaries. Here the testes and the ovaries are said to be gonads. Sir, what are gonads? Okay. So that will be discussed when it comes. These are the list of the some of the endocrine glands. The pituitary gland is present both in male and the female. Even the thyroid gland is also present both in the male and the female. As pancreas, in that pancreas, islets of Langerhans also a endocrine gland present both in male and the female. Adrenal gland is also present both in male and the female. But the testes are present only in male and the ovaries are present only in female. So now we will come into the one by one. Now the pituitary gland. So in page number in your textbooks, in page number 90, so please you observe, this is the diagram to show that the location of the endocrine glands in human beings. So here the testes are present only in the male, and here the ovaries are the endocrine glands present only in female. Other endocrine glands are present, pituitary gland, here also, adrenal gland, thyroid gland, pancreas are present both in male and female. They are the general endocrine glands. Testes are the male sex glands and the ovaries are the female sex glands. Now we will come to one by one. Pituitary gland. Where the usually pituitary gland is present? In structure of brain, we already observed that hypothalamus is a part of diencephalon. Diencephalon is a part of forebrain. Forebrain is the part of brain. Below the hypothalamus, a pituitary gland is present. So here, the pituitary gland is an endocrine gland. Pituitary gland is an endocrine gland. So here, the chemical secretions of the endocrine glands are called hormones. What are hormones? We know that glands are specialized to produce the secretion. Secretions contain chemical substance. So then, what do you mean by hormones? Chemical secretion of endocrine glands. Chemical secretion of endocrine glands are called hormones. These are the different endocrine glands. So now, usually pituitary gland is present below the hypothalamus. Below the hypothalamus, it produces the hormone. The hormone of the pituitary gland is said to be growth hormone. Growth hormone. Growth hormone. GH. Growth hormone. Please remember, the growth hormone is a hormone secreted by the pituitary gland. What are hormones? The chemical secretion of the endocrine glands are called hormones. Hormones are also basically they are proteins. Enzymes are also proteins. Even the hormones are also basically they are proteins. So here, pituitary gland produces the growth hormone. This growth hormone is responsible for the development of, it regulates the physical and mental development of the body. Growth hormone responds to physical and mental development of body. What is the importance of growth hormone? It responds to the physical and mental development of the body. ದೈಹಿಕವಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತು ಮಾನಸಿಕವಾಗಿ. Yes, we know that the pituitary gland is a endocrine gland because this gland discharges their secretion directly into the blood. The chemical secretion of the endocrine gland is called the hormone. Then the name, where the pituitary gland is present, it is present below the hypothalamus. Pituitary gland is present in the brain below the hypothalamus. You know that hypothalamus is the part of diencephalon, the part of forebrain, and it's the part of brain. The hormone secreted by the pituitary gland is called the growth hormone. Name the hormone produced by the pituitary gland, growth hormone. It responds for the physical and mental development of the body. Is it the only the growth hormone is produced by the pituitary gland? Pituitary gland secretes not only the growth hormone, it also secretes many hormones. For example, pituitary gland secrete TSH hormone, ACTH hormone, oxytocin hormone, prolaction hormone, vasopressin hormone, etc. Therefore, here TSH and STH hormone. STH hormone is said to be growth hormone. Somatotrophic hormone. It is a growth hormone. TSH hormone. It is stimulate the thyroid gland. It stimulates the activities of thyroid gland. ಥೈರಾಯ್ಡ್ ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ TSH ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಥೈರಾಯ್ಡ್ ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇಂದ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ಯಾವುದು? ಅದು ಬೇರೆ ಇದೆ. ಥೈರಾಯ್ಡ್ ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ TSH ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ದ TSH ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ಇಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ದ ಪಿಟ್ಯುಟರಿ ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್. ACTH ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್, ಕಾರ್ಟಿಸೋಲ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್, adrenocorticotropic hormone. Oxytocin hormone and prolactin hormone is produced only in the pituitary gland of females. So, pituitary gland is present both in male and female, of course. Generally, ಈ TSH, ACTH ಹಾರ್ಮೋನು, ವ್ಯಾಸೋಪ್ರೆಸಿನ್ ಇವೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಬೋತ್ ಇನ್ ಮೇಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಫಿಮೇಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಟೋಸಿನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಪ್ರೊಲಾಕ್ಟಿನ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ಇಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ದ ಫಿಮೇಲ್ ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ದ ಸರ್ಟೈನ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್. ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲೂ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬೇಬಿ ಬರ್ತ್ ಆಗುವಾಗ ಆಕ್ಸಿಟೋಸಿನ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Therefore, it is called oxytocin hormone is called the birth hormone. ಪ್ರೊಲಾಕ್ಟಿನ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನು ಬೇಬಿ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಮಗುವಿಗೆ ಹಾಲು ಫೀಡ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು, ಆ ಮಿಲ್ಕ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರೊಲಾಕ್ಟಿನ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಸೆಕ್ರೆಟೆಡ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ಸ್ ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ದ ಸರ್ಟೈನ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್. So anyhow, so therefore the pituitary gland is said to be a master gland. Which gland is said to be a master gland? Pituitary gland is said to be a master gland. Why it is said to be a master gland? Because it controls the activities of other gland. The hormones of pituitary gland controls the activities of thyroid gland, activities of adrenal gland, activities of testes, activities of ovaries in female. Therefore, the pituitary gland is said to be a master gland. ಇವಾಗ ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಜನ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೂಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬಾರಿಸೋರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೂಮೆಂಟ್ ನ ಬಾರಿಸತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ಬ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಷಿಯನ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ವೈಲಿನ್ನು, ತಬಲಾ, ಹಾರ್ಮೋನಿಯಮ್ಮು ಈ ರೀತಿ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಇವರೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವ್ರು ಒಬ್ರು ಇರ್ತಾನೆ, ಅವನೇ ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರ್. ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮಾರು ಜನ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಬ್ರು ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಾಲ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಾಲ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ಸ್ ದ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅದರ್ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್. ಆ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ದ ಪಿಟ್ಯುಟರಿ ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ controls the activities of other endocrine gland. Therefore, it is called a master gland. What is the main function of the growth hormone? It responds for the physical and mental development of the body. ದೈಹಿಕವಾಗಿ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆಯಾಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ಮಾನಸಿಕವಾಗಿ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆಯಾಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದು ಇನಿಷಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್. ಲೆಸ್ ಸೆಕ್ರೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್, ಕಡಿಮೆ ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿ ಆದ್ರೆ ಲೆಸ್ ಸೆಕ್ರೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ಕಾಸ್ ಎ ಡಿಸಾರ್ಡರ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ನೋನ್ ಆಸ್ ಡ್ವಾರ್ಫಿಸಮ್. ಓವರ್ ಸೆಕ್ರೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್, ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿ ಆದ್ರೆ ಓವರ್ ಸೆಕ್ರೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ causes a disordered condition is known as gigantism. Write the difference between dwarfism and gigantism. Less secretion of the growth hormone causes a disordered condition known as the dwarfism. ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯು ಕುಳ್ಳವಾಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಎತ್ತರಕ್ಕೆ ಬೆಳೆಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಲೆಸ್ ಸೆಕ್ರೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್, ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಕುಬ್ಜನಾಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಡ್ವಾರ್ಫಿಸಮ್. Gigantism is a disordered condition caused due to the over secretion of the growth hormone. ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಸೆಕ್ರೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ರೆ prior to the puberty, ವಯಸ್ಕತನ ಬರಕ್ ಮುಂಚೆನೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ರೆ gigantism, ಅತಿ ಎತ್ತರವಾಗಿ ಬೆಳೆದ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಈವನ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಮೆಚುರಿಟಿ, ವಯಸ್ಕನಾದ್ಮೇಲೂ ಸಹ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ದಟ್ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಡಿಸಾರ್ಡರ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋನ್ ಆಸ್ ಅಕ್ರೋಮೆಗಲಿ. ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಇವೆರಡು ಗಮನಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಡ್ವಾರ್ಫಿಸಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಗೈಗಾಂಟಿಸಮ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಮೋರ್ ಎಂಡೋಕ್ರೈನ್ ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಥೈರಾಯ್ಡ್ ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್. ಥೈರಾಯ್ಡ್ ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್, pancreas, then adrenal gland, testes in male and ovaries in female. These other endocrine glands, their importance will be discussed in next class. Until then, thank you one and all. Okay.